had polio. I think I was about 3 years then.
Okay.
I'm not too sure of the age, but then around that time. And I remember spending so many months on end lying flat with all kinds of herbs. My leg was, they wrapped my leg in some leaves and some herbs. Went to prayer camps somewhere, and then went to Nsawem orthopedic center, and all that.
They were just trying to fix.
Exactly, fix it. Knowledge had not exploded back then like it is now. So they were doing everything possible to get me back on my feet.
Okay.
But then it was something that I had to live with. So what was the best way? I had to go to school.
Okay.
And it was a huge challenge for my mother and my grandmother particularly, because how was I going to cope? How was I going to cope?
Who was going to support you?
Exactly. Would somebody carry me to the school?
Okay.
It was something unthinkable,
Okay.
But then they braced, the challenge, and then took me to school.
By then, where were you staying?
We are central,
Central,
so
okay,
very
so
close to very, very
Ellimah.
close, just a few meters away from my school. And I think that also helped. So I went to school. I remember enduring a lot of taunts and name calling,
teasing,
yes,
from
and all that
your own
from
colleagues.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably I was too young to assimilate all that, but then I remember it affected me a lot.
Okay.
And again, I lost the strength in the use of my right arm. So I remember I started writing with my left, and my teacher was so upset that I was writing with my left. So my madam, then she forced me to still use my right. I still tried using it, and I still write with the right now. But naturally, I wanted to use the left because that was where the strength had fallen. So I wanted to use my left, but they didn't allow it, and I went on and then used the right, and I went through school. One incident stands out prominently in my mind, and I will never forget that incident. We had come to stay at think New Suta, and I was in class 3 in a Kwenejima International School then. So we had a lot of dogs in the house. I was playing with one of the dogs and it bit me. I mean, a small dog, It bit me, and then my grandmother was a fussy type. I mean, she wouldn't take chances. So she said, let's go to the hospital. And the doctor who usually took care of my family was Dr. Ametam, the late Dr. Ametam of Amansang Clinic.
Amansang Clinic.
Yes. So we took a car, and then on our way, we made a stop over at Tutuka at a drugstore called Papanzima Drugstore. Apparently, he was my paternal grandfather. Paternal, my father's father, So we went there, and then the old man and my grandmother went into the sitting room, and I was outside, sitting on a bench, waiting for them to come out. So I heard them chatting. Honestly, I don't remember a word they said. I don't remember a single word, but I remember a line of conversation that came up. The man asking my grandmother, so how is the boy? He said, he's fine. He's in school. And he's doing very well in school. He tops his class, and all that. And then the man said, but you are wasting your time. He will not amount to anything. Wow. I mean, school will not help him. Why don't you? I know somebody. I know a cobbler. I mean, he can go and learn shoemaking and that stuff.
How many years were you then?
I must have been 6 or 7 years.
And he wanted you to go and learn shoemaking at that time?
Yes. He predicted that I will come to no use. Wow. I will go to school and I will not get any job. Nobody will employ me, and I will just be walking about aimlessly with nothing doing, and
with already money wasted on your education.
And money would have been wasted. So why waste the money on education when you can take him to see an apprentice? Well,
wow,
it hit me so hard. As young as I was, it hit me so hard. And even back then, I resolved that I had to do my best in school. I had to be the best I can be in order to prove the man wrong. even at that young age.
Is he still alive?
No, he died. Incidentally, he died immediately I finished writing my O-level exams.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he died that was 94 or so, thereabout. Yeah.
Wow.
So my grandmother angrily left the house. My grandmother said, "What are you talking about? I mean, the boy is doing so well in school. Why would we pull him out?" So she angrily left the room and then pulled me along, and then we went to see the doctor.
Speaking of what helps the vulnerable in the community, the Disability Act was passed some years ago, about 14 years now. Do you think enough has been done to really implement it, to make it work?
I don't think so. It's a fantastic law. Fantastic law. If you read it, it has all the provisions in it that are meant to make life comfortable for persons with disability. But then the implementation leaves much to be desired, And to make things even easier for our people, the law made room, gave a moratorium. Look, take 10 years to convert all public buildings into disability-friendly structures. 10 years. So after 2016, I was expecting that, by then that consciousness would have been there. A lot of our buildings would have become more disability friendly. 2-3-story buildings would have either, installed lifts or handrails or whatever it is that can make, it easier for persons with disability to access. But unfortunately, 2016 came and went. We held a ceremony to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Disability Act. But then in reality, nothing much has happened. The condition of the person with disability now is not, it's not better. It's not better than it was.
When you visit hotels, when you want to access some structures, banks, and other offices, do you still struggle?
Two scenarios. I travel around the world a lot. I've gone to all the continents. I get invitations to attend conferences. When you are filling the form for the conference, they ask you, do you have a disability? So I tick the box, yes. After I have been accepted for the conference, somebody gets in touch with me via email or phone call. How can we help you? What is the nature of your disability? What can we do to make your stay here comfortable for you? Then we have a discussion. By the time I get to that country, everything is in place. Right from the airport. Usually in some countries, like Australia, South Africa, they will require you to take the underground train to town and then you continue to the hotel. They give you the direction. But in my case, there will be a hired car waiting for me at the airport. It will pick me up straight to the hotel. When I get to the hotel, usually arrangements would have been done already. I will either be put on the down floor where I do not have to climb any staircase, or I will be sited close to the elevator, the next room to the elevator.
So you just come
so
up
I
from
do
your
not
room.
need to exactly.
I
do not need to walk
long distance.
Long distance, yes. So 2015, for instance, when I went to Australia, I was on the 36th floor. But it didn't bother me because I was close to the elevator. They made life comfortable for me. In class, initially the classroom was supposed to have been upstairs. But because I indicated I had a disability and I had a problem, they had to bring it downstairs to a room downstairs where I can easily access. Yes. That is one classic case of a country that has that self-consciousness, that has the plight of the vulnerable at heart, that implements social inclusion programs. Compare that to Ghana, my own country, Ghana. I have challenges when I have to visit some offices for business or for some official assignment. When I have to meet some ministers of state in this country, the staircases alone will discourage me from going because most of the times you will have to climb like 3-4 stories. Mostly the minister's office is located at the top floor and you have to climb up, and I can't do that.
Without a lift?
Without a lift, that's a problem. A lot of ministries do not have lifts. 2, you go to hotels. They don't have that consciousness. Most of the hotels. I mean, if you go to a country with that consciousness, every hotel implements a social inclusion policy. So once you enter the reception. The receptionist doesn't have to ask you.
Okay.
They know your plight already. I do not have to ask you that put me on the down floor. I do not.
But in Ghana, do we have, when you are filling a hotel form, is there even a place for you to take that you have a disability?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. So in most cases, I have to tell them that, look, I need a room downstairs. And in like 90% of cases, they will tell me, oh, all the rooms are filled. All the rooms downstairs are filled. And you have to go to the third floor. Then I ask them, how do you expect me to climb up to the third floor? Do you have a lift? They say, no.
Don't.
Then I ask them, will you carry me to the fourth floor or third floor? They say, oh, sir, please exercise patience. I said, the patience I will exercise is that you put me on the down floor. That is the only patience I have. So sometimes it becomes a hassle. I have to, back and forth.
Now the act has been passed. It is whose duty to make sure that it is being implemented?
If you look at the act, there's the provision for the establishment of the National Council for Persons with Disability.
Is it at the national level?
Yes, at the national level. It's similar to Ghana Education Service or something, at that level, at the apex.
Okay.
Now, one of their duties is to serve as a regulatory body to ensure that the interests of persons with disability are protected.
Okay.
And by extension, things like access to public buildings, discrimination at the workplace because of a person's disability and so on. All these things fall within their remit. But unfortunately, in my opinion, the council has been asleep.
Because I know hotels that were built lately, but still they don't have
all these lifts and so on. So the question I keep asking myself is, if I get to a hotel, I am denied a room downstairs. That hotel doesn't have a lift. And because of that, I'm turned away. Do I have somebody I can call and make a complaint to so that the issue can be resolved? In countries like Australia, this will be a big offense, a huge offense. You dare not. Because they've engrafted it into their national development planning process. And everybody in Australia understands these things. Even when they are constructing highways, the islands in that structure in the middle of the roads, they've for every few meters, they have to level it so that anybody with in a wheelchair can easily crisscross and
even
move
at their car parks. They have
every car park they reserved. Yes, every place is reserved. In their public buses, they have areas they have reserved for wheelchair users and so on. That is a country with that consciousness.
Usually, the first chair when you enter the bus, the first seat.
Yeah. In most advanced countries, we don't have that in Ghana here. Take the Kufuor buses. Recently, I sat in a program on Shaft Radio, and then somebody called in. I think the person uses a woman. She uses a wheelchair. And she was complaining that she was coming from Kumasi to Obuasi. She went to the Sprinter station, and they told her that they cannot carry her wheelchair. So she couldn't board the car. Why should that happen? Is she not Ghanaian? You see, we need to develop this country to the point where, irrespective of a person's disability status, they should be able to live a normal life.
Because we are all 5 seconds away from being disabled.
Exactly. That is what I keep telling people. I mean, right after this interview, you can be crossing the road and then a car will knock you down. Then the doctor will break the news to you. I'm sorry, you can't walk again. Then
what do?
You become like me.
And now
so how did you treat me? That is how you will also feel. So if we get that consciousness, then we all put our shoulders to the wheel and do everything we can to make persons with disabilities live as normal a life as possible.
Do you have plans of possibly starting something where the disabled people who are being maltreated could have justice?
Sure. Since I came back from Australia and having experienced how social inclusion is taken seriously over there, and comparing that to Ghana, I told the board of CESIS that one of the key things we should be looking at is issues of disability. So we already have the blueprint that we want to work on.
Okay.
So it will start
It will be
from
part of CESIS.
looking at, yes.
Okay.
We wanted to, we've done all the paperwork. We want to start by doing a research into access to public basic schools by persons with disability.
Okay, because where I'm teaching now,
when I talk of access, I'm looking at, can they easily walk in? Are there ramps?
Okay.
Do they have handrails? Do you organize classrooms downstairs because one of your pupils or students has a disability? Do we have that kind of system in place? We are looking at all that. And we want to do it in about 5 regions of Ghana. And then present the findings and then based on it make policy recommendations. So it's something that is seriously under consideration.
That's impressive. So have you ever been rejected any job because of your condition? That maybe they won't tell you, but you realize, no, this is the main reason why I wasn't given this job.
Well, I do not recall, but you know, typically of Ghanaians, they will not let it be known to you. I mean, they will not articulate it to you that, look, we cannot give you this job because of your condition. They won't. They will give you all the very beautiful invectives and all that, and then later tell you that, we are sorry, the job has been filled. You know. But then there's a particular interview I attended, and then it was quite an impressive interview. Then the last question was, do you drive? I said no.
But they knew
I think that killed it. I think so. That killed it. So these things do happen. And I wonder why that can be a conditionality. You know, I mean, I'm coming to use my brain. I'm not coming to use my legs. So why can't people think deep than they do? You know, so these things do happen.